Okay, we're late, but that's okay because I still don't have furniture and I don't want to talk about it. I'm still unhappy about that. But tonight we've got a very special guest. It's the final episode of the 2016 season. We will be back next week, but I'm not going to tell you who the guest is for next week because I'm going to let Eat Sleep Golf present that via Twitter in a couple of days. But we're a little late, no big deal, because this guy is actually on the other coast. He's about as far away from me as possible. He's over in the Pebble Beach area, but I've known this guy for a long, long time, and it's always good to catch up. And I'm excited to have Jeff Ritter from Make the Turn with us. And I could begin to tell you what he does, but he does a lot. So let's just assume that we jumped on an elevator, Jeff. Tell me in a short little pitch who you are, what you do, and why you're on the hashtag Wednesday Match Play. And welcome to the hashtag Wednesday Match Play.
Yeah, right on. Thanks for having me. I'm really glad I'm able to give you something to do tonight, being that you don't have any furniture. You know, we were just talking the fact that if I wasn't here on the show, you'd be sitting on your back porch talking to yourself. So I'm glad to be here. So I'm a coach by trade. I've been coaching golf for 25 years, and I'm now in Pebble Beach, California. Operate at a Poppy Hills Golf Club, and for the last 5 years, I've been really working towards building this thing called Make the Turn. And Make the Turn is really an integrated approach to coaching and living. We have 4 different pillars of engagement: skill building, mindset, fitness, and nutrition. But in short, it's really using the game to help you have your life be the way you want it to be. You know, we're all, enjoying this form right now because we love golf, right? But people play golf for different reasons. You know, some kids play to be competitive or get college scholarships. Companies use a golf-inspired setting to try and build a more productive corporate culture. Parents play golf with their kids to strengthen their relationships. People play to try and win the club championship. So we're all doing this for different reasons, but there's a lot of amazing lessons that are inherent within the game that not only help us play better, but if we look at them from the proper perspective, they help us live better as well. And the way this whole thing came about is that of course, I've been involved with the game my whole life. My father was a club pro. I've been playing since I was 3 years old. But I had some very powerful personal experiences in mindset coaching, in fitness coaching, and then I married a nutritionist. Right? So all of these things that became part of my life and things that were really exciting to me sort of found their way into me deciding to pivot with my personal mission in coaching and say, I wanted to try and create something that challenged me to be the best I can be every day. And if these things were exciting to me, maybe they would be exciting to other people as well. And that's how Make the Turn kind of came about. So we've been pushing pretty hard for the last 5 years, making some nice progress. And now we're on Eat Sleep Golf. So the arrow points up, my man.
I love it. Well, I tell you, it's been so fun to watch. And, when you made the transition from the Southwest to the far West, and you took someone with you, and I haven't seen him in a long time. And the last time I saw him, we were actually having drinks in Scottsdale together. But Aaron Olson, have you seen him in the last couple of days? And how the heck is that kid?
We lost him. He's out to sea somewhere. I don't know where he is. No, Aaron is still with us. And he's a fantastic coach and a good friend. He was just recognized by Golf Digest as one of their best young teachers, very deserving honor. So he's part of our mission as well.
Well, he's a good kid, so please do tell him that I said hello, and let's figure out a way to get him on this show next year. It's only just let's spread the love and keep growing this game. So now you mentioned Eat Sleep Golf. Eat Sleep Golf is the presenting sponsor of the hashtag Wednesday Match Play, and they always send a whole bunch of good questions. I hope they're watching. And the first question that they have is a good question because it could be a very difficult question to answer. Is who is your target demographic for Make the Turn?
Our target demographic really is reduced to people that operate from a growth-oriented mindset, people that are actively looking for ways to be better both on and off the course. And not everybody operates from a growth-oriented mindset. So we don't have a specific demographic like it's just millennials or just baby boomers or other. It's really people that find a lot of joy and passion associated with challenging their own personal limits through the game. So it's kind of like, if you're drinking the Kool-Aid, right? And you see something that we have to say, and you kind of like attach yourself to it in a very positive way, then potentially you like more about what we've got going on. So a lot of times, when you talk about make the turn, it's really inspired and purposeful action. And that's kind of how I would describe it. And the reason why I say inspired and purposeful is that, I believe relative to your golf game and relative to your life, through a product of our conditioning, right, experiences we've had in the past, over time, we've learned to operate from a shrunken level of imagination, right? So make the turn is really all about, getting you to, decide and really explore, authentically what your heart is most attached to, whether that's related to your golf game or stuff you're doing off the golf course. And it takes a little bit of work for you to be able to stretch your imagination to actually say, this is definitively what I want, not what I think I should have or what I think is practical or realistic. It's really what I want, So once we create that, authentic, representation of who we would like to be, then from there it's all about showing the courage to act and engage in a coaching or training environment that allows you to go down that path.
I love that. That's such a great answer. So now I'm gonna kick this back about 5, 6, 7 years. You and I had, and every day when I fill my coffee cup, I remember this conversation. We were having a heart-to-heart on the floor of the PGA show, which I know that you have been to many times, and I'm going to ask you later if you're going this year or next year. I guess it's in January. We talked about iced coffee, and this is silly and goofy, and it does not have to be anything that you ever remember us talking about, but we talked about it. And I remember you talking about Keurig needing to make like an iced coffee contraption. They don't, and they still don't, and they should be if they're watching do that. But that being said, do you remember that conversation, and do you drink your coffee iced to this day?
Well, I drink my coffee iced depending on time of year, but the way I remember the conversation was the fact that, I had this piping hot coffee, this ridiculously hot coffee that I got, from one of the vendors at the PGA show. And it's no different at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or wherever else you go, And it's kind of like, the stuff is so hot that it's almost like they're going to ask you, would you like your coffee now or would you like it 45 minutes from now? Oh, you know what? I'd like it now. Well, then you shouldn't have this one. You should have this one. That's like the greatest invention in the world should be, coffee your way, coffee that you can actually drink right now if you want it now. Maybe other people would like to have it later, but I'm here buying it now because I want coffee now.
That's awesome. Well, I to this day drink my coffee iced.
And I'm like, I can't believe how hot this coffee is. Why has no one solved this riddle of how to get coffee that I can drink right now?
Now, to the point of iced coffee specifically, I just got to Naples and I've been to one location in Hawaii. Badass Coffee Company has coffee that is ice, but the ice is of the coffee that you order. It doesn't water it down. Wow. It allows you to control the temperature, and it is like perfection. Like we went the other day just so I could get an iced coffee. I didn't even want coffee, and I'm like, let's go because I want coffee. So that's awesome.
Well, there you got some people at least thinking it through.
Yeah, exactly. It's like next level coffee thought process. So you are partnered with the Golf Channel Academy. Tell us a little bit about that and how that relationship works for both you and for them.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing. Lauren Anderson is a big proponent of the coaching related mission associated with Golf Channel. Of course, if you watch Golf Channel, Golf Channel is by and large, coaching driven. Of course, they've expanded their programming over the years into a lot of different areas, but the heart of what Golf Channel stands for is helping you play a better game. So, Golf Channel realized that, they host a lot of coaches on their program. But wouldn't it be great if they could actually, bring the Golf Channel to the general public in a way that allowed consumers literally anywhere in North America to be able to find a Golf Channel Academy and to know at that academy you had a coach or a series of coaches or programs that were going to be high level, high quality, and they would be guaranteed to have a really good coaching experience. So Golf Channel Academy kind of operates like NASCAR, right? It's a brand within a brand, right? So basically, we're Make the Turn Performance. We are who we are. We do things the way that we've always done them. Golf Channel doesn't tell us how to do things. They help us do things better, and they give us a lot of different through media, through programming, through best practices that allow us to continue elevating our daily operations. So that's kind of how it works. There must be 70 plus locations now throughout North America, but it's really a great group of coaches, a great group of people. You know, this business is such a small, close-knit business. So to be able to have all these coaches come together and really collaborate on ideas and to share with each other freely, and not to be communicating from a position of competition, but more a position of how can we help each other grow the game is pretty cool. And you know that, you know, there's a lot of people with different ideas on how to help golfers. And if you just follow any forum, any social media format, you know, some of those exchanges can get pretty nasty from time to time. So it's just nice to be able to feel like we're all in it for the same reasons, even though we might not see things the same, to be able to see each other face to face and to come up with great ideas that we think can really help people, regardless of what your position is on how to do things. So
I have not seen Lauren in a long time. So if and when you see him next, please tell him I said hello. He'd be a great guest to have on the show. Much taller than the last time you saw him. I don't know. I remember him being pretty tall. You wouldn't believe it. No. That's awesome. Well, he is a great, and as you said, proponent, hence the Proponent Group, which is an organization that he is is that still going on? Is the Proponent Group still a thing? Is he still involved? Or no, it's still going on. Awesome. And the Proponent Group actually has practices that support Golf Channel Academy. And for people that are listening to this, Lauren Anderson has been involved in the golf business for a very, very long time. He was with Golf Magazine probably, you know, back in the early 80s. And he's just, you know, one of the best people in the game, you know, highly intelligent, very knowledgeable, great at bringing people together, and really has a vision that I think is going to support everything good that you could possibly imagine coming from Golf Channel and Golf Channel Academy. And he's a nice guy. Like he's a nice guy. Have dinner with the dude, and you'll see how nice of a guy that guy is. So now I saw you on a golf board a few days ago, and there's more to that than just surfing the earth. So talk a little bit about why you were on a golf board, and I think you were with somebody that we need to talk about. Yeah, well, you know, just kind of hanging out, and I got one of those calls in Golf Digest and BMW. They asked me if I had any spare time to spend with supermodel Kate Upton. And I'm busy. I'm sorry. And her fiance Justin Verlander, who pitches for the Detroit Tigers. And I had to move a couple things around, but I already had the newest episode of The Curse of Oak Island saved. You know, so I didn't actually have to watch it right then. I was actually able to get up and go out and spend the day with them. But no, it was an incredible day. And you know, as you know, I've been doing a lot of work with Golf Digest too for quite some time. I started writing for them back in 2000, and most recently been doing a lot of video-based projects. You know, things are going more and more digital. Video is a big deal. And I was out in Scottsdale with them working on a project, and you know, just got to talk a little bit, and they asked me if I wanted to participate in this project as well. So I have a cameo appearance. I don't even know if you can call it a cameo appearance. I think you actually have to have some degree of like reputation to actually show up for a cameo. But if you know me, and if you're watching the BMW series called The Getaway, right, you'll notice that there's a guy who is sort of in the background doing some stuff, riding golf boards, hitting golf shots. But I'm sort of like their third. You know, so basically the gist of the series is they got like this $200,000 BMW that they're driving from Los Angeles up to the coast of California. And of course they're engaged to be married. They're both superstars, and they're going on the ultimate couples getaway. So one of their getaway locations happens to be our home in Pebble Beach at Poppy Hills. And I'm just a member of their group. So yeah, she doesn't play much golf, but he does. So he and I are kind of, you know, having a little match, and then we're like surfing the earth on these golf boards. And I had a chance to ride these things actually for about 3 or 4 consecutive days. We had them at our event in Scottsdale, and then we showed up in Pebble Beach. And I thought they were incredible. I mean, I like to surf. I like to snowboard. In looking at these things the very first time, you know, I kind of thought of them as like a Segway. You stand on it and you go. But you can really have a lot of fun on these things. And they're incredibly stable. They're pretty quick depending on which one you got. And I mean, you can try and lean and stick your butt in the ground, and it's just going to carve a beautiful turn, just like you're skiing down a mountain. So
I'm a fan. I love it. It's kind of like snowboarding and golfing in the same day, and I've never done that. I've been playing golf for a long time, so.
That's awesome. Well, you continue to produce a ton of great content online. But I mean, you said video, that's a big part of what you do. And the team at East of Golf said that you have the weekly challenge. Talk a little bit about that and the amount of content you kind of a multi-part question. Like, so the weekly challenge, but then the content you're producing, how often you're producing it, and where the content actually comes from.
Yeah, well, it comes from this drawer in my desk. Can you see it? That's the drawer, right? And I got so much of it, I got to keep it like really pushed. I got some duct tape on the side of it. Because Golf Digest really got into video a couple of years ago. I saw an opportunity to try and leverage more of that kind of content. And if any coaches are listening to this, or just people that are trying to create some leverage for their careers, a lot of times we have what we think are good ideas. And we try and pitch them to people, but just because we have a good idea doesn't mean it's what they're looking for. So I kind of adopted this philosophy of going into meetings and simply asking people, what do they need? You know what I mean? Instead of me going in there guns blazing, like I've got this great idea, like, what are you guys looking for? And it was just at a time where Golf Digest said, hey, we really need video. Golf Digest is owned by Condé Nast Magazine Group, and they operate out of One World Trade Center. And Condé Nast was launching this whole video player. So anything that went into this whole video channel got pushed out through AOL, Yahoo, Huffington Post, and just went all these amazing places that were beyond what Golf Digest would do. So I pitched them the idea based on their need for video that I wanted to create a weekly challenge series. With golf, we've all seen golf tips. This is how you hit it 10 yards farther. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. I wanted to create a different spin on a golf tip and actually change it more to a golf experience, something that you can engage in with your own game without us having any prior knowledge of who you were or what you needed, that had an opportunity to help a broader range of people. So I was checking out something online for like Men's Health magazine, right? And they always have these weekly challenges, like, the ab shredder, get stronger, get a six pack, that kind of stuff. And I said, what if we had a weekly challenge series that was involving all of our pillars of performance, skill, mindset, fitness, nutrition. So I pitched it to Golf Digest, and they said, hey, if you can produce it and it turns out good, then we'll run it. So back in 2014, we delivered 50 weeks of video challenges that rotated through all these different pillars. And it was a project that I produced on my own and scripted on my own. And I found a film resource to put it together. And it turned out better than Golf Digest was expecting. And a couple of years later, I think as many as 20 million people have seen the series just because it had this great platform to roll from. It's still on Golf Digest TV. If you go to our blog, which is mttperformance.com/blog, you can check out all the challenges there as well. So they're still available for people to log on and see, but became a huge thing for us. And I think it was really the big thing that kind of catapulted me into some opportunities with Golf Channel and also these other opportunities I had with Golf Digest, because I showed them that I understood video, I understood content, and I was able to deliver something that was better than they were expecting. So it turned out to be a really good thing. It was, at the time, it was a huge risk for me, because I paid for the series, and I put my neck out there, and in the end we came out with something pretty cool.
Well, obviously YouTube has played a big part of that. So from the beginning of the video creation, and that's been a big part of your career over the last 5, 7, 10 years, how big of a part has YouTube specifically as a network played into the success of where you are today?
Well, it was huge in the beginning for sure, but it was also huge for a number of reasons that some people might not perceive to be obvious. I mean, so back in 2007, I think I was probably one of the first legions of coaches that saw an opportunity in YouTube. Because back in 2007, it was like, you go to YouTube to see, stupid dog tricks or people blowing up their mailboxes. I mean, it wasn't like for, stuff like this and education and real, strong content. I mean, it's come a really long way in a pretty fast time. So the cool thing is that, I was located in Phoenix. I was operating out of Arizona State University, the Ping Learning Center there. And of course, because you lived in Phoenix, it's a very accessible place for people, for vacation, for business. You can have access to a lot of golf. You got snowbirds from Canada. It's just an easy place for people to go and have a great time. And it's pretty, moderately priced for an amazing time with your family around the golf courses. And so as a result, I started getting all these people that were seeing these videos I was putting on YouTube, and they were coming in for golf lessons. And I had people land, in Scottsdale, and they would think to themselves, wait a minute, I was just watching this guy. I think he's here. And they would click on a link, and they would call me and they say, are you located here? I just landed. I said, yeah. They would come over for a golf lesson. And I remember one day I was giving lessons, and I had 3 guys in a row that were from outside of the country. I had a guy from France, I had a guy from Asia, I had a guy from Australia, and they were all standing talking about how they found me through YouTube. And that's kind of like when the light bulb went on. I was like, holy cow, this is crazy. This is powerful. Because before that, a golf coach would look at the 25 miles max that surrounded the property and say, these are my clients, these are my consumers, and this is my potential audience, and that was it. So I think that YouTube was a total game changer, just in terms of, how I thought as a coach and what I felt like my reach could be and my impact could be. The other thing is that just spending time, talking to a little piece of plastic camera, over time you get better at it, and I think that to be able to get some practice, even though I didn't think of it as practice at the time, to be able to get some practice when I had a chance to do things for like Fox Sports or ESPN, or to go on the Golf Channel, it wasn't the first time that I was in front of the camera, and it felt pretty comfortable. So it's been a huge thing for me, and it's something I just continue working at and trying to keep improving now.
Well, your content is great, and the content, and you mentioned the blog is a big part of that. So your website is fantastically done. It's a responsive design. The content is there. The blog is there. Who designed the website, and how much effort are you on a daily basis putting back into the website and or the blog?
Yeah, well, there was a couple of years ago, probably about 5 years ago now, where I actually helped start a company called Square It Up. And Square It Up doesn't really operate anymore, but it was website design, graphic design, and marketing that was really dedicated to the golf business. And of course, we were sort of a high-end, I would say, highly customized outfit at the time. And right when we started getting rolling, all of these other companies that started coming out with more cost-effective solutions for people. And now you can go on, Wix or whatever, and you can get a really, really amazing website for a pretty reasonable price. So there were some things that with the market that made it challenging for us to keep going. But in doing so, we found a really fantastic designer. His name's Will Gaines, and I just kind of maintained a relationship with him. And he and I worked together on a monthly basis to create all of our email campaigns and the website and the blog and whatnot. So I was really lucky to be able to, through that business effort, get connected with some people that really knew what they were doing. And in terms of how often I create content, I'm always trying to create stuff every day if I can. I don't have a content creation schedule, but I'm really into Instagram now. So I've always got my phone with me, obviously, and I enjoy filming little video clips throughout the day. And one of the things that I really try and do with my content is I really try and make sure, unless I feel like it's really providing some value, I usually don't post anything. And I understand sometimes I post a nice picture of the golf course, or I post a picture of my dog, whatever, but I really try and make sure that 85% of it, if you click on it and you turn up the volume on your phone, it's because I'm going to try and say something that I think can be really, really helpful. So I think it's been a pretty good formula, and our followers seem to keep on growing. So I love doing it.
Now, your travel schedule, and you're all over the place. Where have you been in 16, and where are you headed in 17?
I've been to Asia a lot in 16, and I've been there before. I did a golf camp in China about 5 years ago, which is really cool. But I got reconnected with an old friend who does a lot of work in Thailand, Bangkok. He's Thai. We actually went to college together a lifetime ago, and we got hooked up. in Bangkok when I was over there doing Golf Education Asia Summit. I went over with Cameron McCormick and James Seekman, and the three of us did 2 days in Bangkok. We had a couple hundred people from all over Asia, and it was really a great event. And those guys are really, really incredible guys to spend time with. And I just fell in love with it over there, and I've been back a number of times. I just did a big event with Barclays over in Cambodia, which was a total trip. If you follow my Instagram, you can actually see quite a bit of that trip occurring. It was sort of my my Anthony Bourdain meets Expedition Unknown meets I don't know, Golf Central. it was a trip, but we had a lot of fun over there, and I do plan on going back. As far as the 17, I don't know. I don't have anything really planned, you know, in Europe, but definitely going to be doing more stuff in Asia. I mean, the thing is over there, they just love it so much. I mean, they love it so much, and I'm not saying that we don't love it, but I'm telling you, they love it.
They love it. Yeah,
they love it, and they really value education and coaching, and a lot of the stuff that we bring, you know, to them is stuff that, you know, they don't see it, they don't get every day. So you know, we did some crazy stuff over there. I mean, there's this. I go over there, and this guy, you know, gets me set up on Golf Channel Thailand. He gets me set up on like their international, you know, MCOT1 radio station. Then he goes, oh, and then we're gonna do a day in the life, Jeff Ritter in Bangkok. And the first thing I thought is, Jeff Ritter in Bangkok for a day. Like, seriously, you know, and he had this guy follow me around all day long, from like drinking my coffee, you know, to like riding, you know, on transit, to getting a massage, like checking out, you know, the Buddhas. It was such a trip that they even cared at all to follow me around. But
that's cool.
But they loved it. We talked golf, and we just had the best time ever. And my wife, about 10 days into the trip, she said, when are you coming back? And I said, I'm never coming back.
Sorry.
Why would I come here? Right? We're over there. It's so different. Do you like massages? Did you ever get massages?
Not in Asia, but I feel like based on that statement, I need, the next time I go to Asia, I need to invest in that.
Right. Well, this was not by my doing. But I had 14 massages in 10 days.
I don't even know where I would have time for 14 massages.
Exactly, right? And the thing is that, you know, like here in the States, it's like, oh, a massage is going to cost you, you know, a good bit of dough. And it's like, you know, I'm going to wait till like I really don't feel good. And then finally someone goes, well, you should get a massage. And you're like, well, I wish I could afford it. So over there, yeah, it's like $20 for like 2 hours, right?
Oh, done.
And this guy, he's like, I got this place we're to go, and he takes you there, and you know, they give you the full beat down, right, for a full 2 hours, right, and then they give you this little tea, and you know, you walk back to the taxi that you got, and you sit down, and the guy goes, so what did you think of that? And you're like, man, you know, that's the way it's done. And he goes, great, now this next place you're really gonna love. And then they hit the gas and they drive, and I'm like, we got like 3 in a day, and I'm at the point, Ricky. I'm at the point where I'm going, is this even good for you anymore?
Yeah, by that point, it's like, no, I'm done.
So, you know, when in Rome, you know.
Yeah, I love that. I say that all the time. So even when I'm here, I'm like, you know, when in Rome.
If you go to Thailand with me, I'm taking you for a massage.
Or 4, because apparently that's what a normal Tuesday is like in Thailand. Now, Spyglass Hill, because of the Tiger Woods EA Sports days, is, and I've not played either, but Spyglass, based on how well I played in about 11 years of that video game series, is my preferred of the two. But I'm assuming you've played both. If you had to choose out of those two, which would you pick and why?
Pebble Beach and Spyglass?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say Pebble Beach for 2 reasons. Well, the first time I played Pebble Beach, I went in the men's locker room, and I was getting ready to go out, and I saw this little sign on the wall. I'm not sure if it was a plaque or just something that they had posted up, but it was a quote from Jack Nicklaus, and it said, "If I had one last round of golf to play, I'd play Pebble Beach." You know, and you know, Jack Nicklaus was my hero growing up. like for a lot of people. I mean, if Jack says that, then I'm going to get excited to play this place. Spyglass from start to finish is probably, I think most people would agree, maybe a stronger test of golf. But Pebble Beach has got 5 of the most amazing holes in the world just because of the landscape that it's associated with. And the first round that I played out there, I mean, I was out there for like 6.5 hours, right? But I didn't mind. It was kind of like when your favorite football team is just like whooping up on your arch rival. It could be 50-0, and you're just like, I hope this game lasts forever, right? So for me, it was just enjoying waiting between shots and just looking around. The second time I played it, I didn't have that same feeling because I was like, let's get this thing over with.
I'm done. Let's go. I'd be taking pictures, though. I'd be like,
to answer your question, I would say if you've never played, I would definitely play Pebble Beach first. I just think if Jack says you got to play, then how can you not listen to Jack?
Well, anybody that's ever watched this show is going to know that your second to last question, and it's coming up here in just a couple of minutes because we're almost out of time, is related to Jack and my Jack, which is Tiger. So be careful how you answer that because we've been friends for a long time, and I'm worried now based on what you just said there how you're going to answer that. But we'll get to that in a second. I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. Like this has been like I told you before we went live, it was going to fly by. We've been talking for almost 30 minutes, but yeah. I'm not going to let you go yet because we have what's called the back 9. It's just 9, not as focused on make the turn and about you and golf. And now, before I get to that, though, real quick, before I get to that, you had a quick fun story right before we went live that you told me about lottery tickets. And I wasn't going to forget about it. So before we go into the back 9, real quick, why do you have a lottery ticket on your desk? And tell me just why.
Well, you see that right there, Ricky? Right? This right here could be the answer to all of our problems, right? No, the funny thing is I don't play the lottery. I never, I'm not a lottery follower player. I normally don't do that. But I always had this. I had this policy. I think since college of any time that I end up at a gas station that's somewhere off the beaten path, like I'm running out of gas, or my oil light goes on, or I blow a tire, or just from being an idiot I miss my exit. Anytime I have to stop, at some 7-Eleven or Shell station in a place that I would normally not be, right? I buy myself a Powerball ticket, right? Because to me, in the back of my head, it's like, the universe has directed me down this unusual path for a reason. And who am I, Ricky, not to listen, right? Not to listen to the voice of the universe. So, so this ticket right here, December 21st, right? That's what today is.
Yeah.
When I get off this call, I'm going to go to CaliforniaLottery.com, and I might never talk to you again.
Well, I hope you at least talk to me again to at least tell me, buy me a cup of coffee that's iced, please.
I'll stick you on an espresso machine.
Now, funny that you should say that because the espresso machine at my golf club today literally was taken away, and I'm like in tears as it's leaving the building. But I don't want to talk about that. Now, the back 9, it's fun, it's random. What golf ball do you play?
The golf ball I play is usually the ball that's free. I acquire golf balls from a lot of different places. The camps that I run, video projects that I'm on, I don't have a ball deal with a particular manufacturer. So I literally have a trunk full of a lot of different golf balls. And, whatever is easily available and round, not covered in dirt or scuff marks, that's the one that goes on the peg.
I've decided to play Bridgestone because I guess Tiger plays it now. So.
But I would say, I like the Titleist products. I played Titleist since I was a kid. Like I said, my dad was a club pro. He had a shop, and I would always get new Titleist golf balls. So.
Now, you said you surf, but do you surf well? Are you a good surfer?
I'm not bad, right? So I have a policy. I got a lot of policies.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got a lot of policies. That buy lottery tickets? I love it.
I think that the whole key to engaging in any kind of an activity, especially athletic, is this idea that you can be mediocre fast, right? Like if you go out and you're trying to learn golf and you swing at it 10 times and it's still sitting there, then you're going to probably find something else that's more fun to do than that, right? And for me, I grew up skiing and snowboarding. I was never like into skateboarding, but I was always really intrigued by the water, and I I just got involved with surfing a little bit, and I love being in the water and paddling around. And I would say that I can, if I have a friendly wave, I can get up and ride it in more times than not. So I like it.
I love it. Now, PGA show, I assume you're going, but are you going next year?
I am. I will be there.
Awesome.
We will have coffee.
I'm not going. As of right now, I'm not going. I would assume that I would, because I'm like 3 hours away now. So like I could drive there instead of fly there. So hopefully, if I do come, I'm buying you coffee. You heard it here first. You and I are having coffee. But if you win the lottery, you're buying me coffee.
I'm buying
You're buying coffee for the building. What are your New Year's resolutions?
My New Year's resolutions. That's a good question. Here's a unique thing that's kind of based on Make the Turn, right? It's this idea of creating these little upgrades, and we like to create upgrades from, let's say, making a goal. Because a resolution is kind of like a goal, right? So that's a fancy word for a goal. What are your goals? What are your resolutions? Same thing, right? Mm-hmm. Basically, we like to try and create an upgrade that lifts a goal and turns it into a decision, right? When you make a decision, you eliminate the possibility of it not happening. When you create a goal, you create that little gap or that little window of potential achievement that's lesser than what that actual desired outcome is. So I would say the decisions that I've made for the next year are really based on organizing some of our Make the Turn curriculum in the form of our little manifesto, right? Our little opus, right? So today I spent quite a bit of time creating the outline for the book, which would obviously involve, our best practices and skill building, mindset, fitness, nutrition, but really to try and create something that people who follow our brand and our mission can kind of latch onto and say, this is the formula. These are the best practices. This is why they do what they do. So they can get something that's much more organized than just the content that's free and available, in a lot of different forms online. Something people can really follow and work through and try and get to that place they're trying to achieve.
Two-part question. The last movie you saw and your favorite golf movie.
What was the last movie I saw? The last movie I saw. Oh, I saw The Race.
Was it good? I want to see that real bad.
Story about Jesse Owens. I saw it just a couple nights ago on demand. Right. That was really great. So if you want to watch The Race, I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
And the favorite golf movie?
Mm-hmm.
Gotta be Caddyshack.
Okay.
It has to be Caddyshack. How can it be anything other than Caddyshack?
Tin Cup's pretty good. I mean, Tin Cup is pretty good.
I will say that when I started dating my wife, she had played college golf, and we decided to get together for a movie night, like our first movie night together, right? And we didn't really know each other that well. She reaches into her backpack and she pulls out some DVDs, and she grabs Caddyshack. She goes, do you think we could watch this? Right? I mean, and literally, I swear to you, I said, can you give me a moment? I went outside, right? I was like welling up with tears. I called my mom and I'm like, Mom, you're not going to believe what is happening to me right now. This girl that I'm seeing asked me if it would be okay if we watched Caddyshack tonight.
That's awesome.
And like this week, I mean, I had a couple of we're feeding our we have a new puppy, right? And she's like, oh, can you feed the dog? And I'm like, dog food? I'll show you dog food. Like we literally have these quotes that they're always dropping.
That's fantastic.
It's the fabric that keeps our relationship strong. So.
That's awesome. Who's your favorite LPGA Tour player?
My favorite LPGA Tour player. I like following Lexi Thompson. I think Lexi's cool. I think she's good for the game. I think the brand that she represents with her and Ricky, I think it's got a cool vibe. I think they do a lot of cool stuff that really attracts kids to the game. I love her golf swing, right? Because I think that people like Lexi and people like Bubba and Freddie Couples and John Daly and Jim Furyk, who I went to high school with, they really show people, how athletic and how unique a swing can be and still deliver this amazing result. And I think that there are too many people out there that spend too much time chasing their own view of perfection on a camera lens. And they're not really understanding how unique attributes in their own golf swings can fit together to deliver this beautiful result. So I think those swings are really beautiful and fun to watch. And that's why I would say I like watching Lexi.
Good answer versus just, yeah, I like Lexi. Good answer. Now, we talked about Tiger and Jack briefly. We didn't really talk about it. I just said that there was going to be a question about it, and there is. Now, do you think Tiger breaks Jack's record? Why or why not? And normally, if you say no, I'm just going to shut the laptop and we're done. But I've known you long enough to know that I'm not going to do that. So be nice in how you answer this, knowing that I'm Tiger's biggest fan.
Yeah.
Do you think he breaks the record? Why or why not?
I don't think he does. I think that I think he would have. I think he would have broken the record by a pretty easy margin. I think I saw Brandel Chambly kind of tried to extrapolate, major victories and tour victories if Tiger didn't have some of these blips on the radar screen relative to injuries and swing changes and other stuff going on in his life. But the big reason I think that he doesn't, I think the talent across the board right now, it's really, really stiff. I mean, you got guys like Jason Day and like Jordan, obviously, and they're just not, they're not intimidated by him. Tiger had a certain aura about him, and the best way that I can describe it from my perspective is I've been lucky to go to the Masters quite a few times, and there was one year that I was down there, and it was at the height of his success, and on the range. While other players walk up to the range with their caddies and the bag of balls, right? Everyone just keeps on hitting shots. So John Cook walks up, and John Cook's a great player, but nobody cares. He walks up, and even Davis Love, and he would walk up, and then you'd see another top player would walk up, and then all of a sudden, Ricky, you would feel the energy, right, change. And I'm talking like the energy within like a 150-yard area from the parking lot, to the clubhouse, to the walkway, and all of a sudden, right, you would sort of feel this thing coming your way, and as these players would feel this energy, they would hit a shot, and they would turn to see what was coming, and I saw that happen over and over and over again, and all of a sudden Tiger would walk up, he wouldn't talk to anybody, right? He was a stone cold killer. So I think that number one, the field wasn't as strong as it is now across the board, right? Number two, he definitely had the mental edge. And then number three, I think in sports performance, there's a window of accessibility to whatever greatness you possess, right? And I think that for golf, obviously it's much wider window than for other sports, but there's a window nonetheless. I mean, do I think that Tiger could win a major at 45? Of course. Jack won one at 46. Do I think Tiger could win one north of 45? I wouldn't put it past him. I just think that with all the things that he has working against him, it's going to be hard for him to get to that number and possibly break that number. That's my answer.
I respect that. I love the fact that you brought in the aura of what Tiger brought, and
it was pretty amazing.
I don't like it, but I'm going to allow it. And your final question of your hashtag Wednesday Match Play, we're way over time, and I apologize for that, but that's okay because I love the conversations with you. What's next for Jeff Ritter and Make the Turn?
So we're heading down to the PGA show. Been doing some really cool work with the golf training aid company. So we're actually going to be working on the product and infomercial and things like that. And then talking with Golf Digest today, we've got another big video project that we're going to do, down in Florida after the PGA show. So the stuff that's in the most immediate in the future is just some really cool partnerships and collaborations and more video that's designed to help people play a better game. And then for us, it's all about how do we keep on taking what we're doing and keep on moving it to the next level. And if people are listening to this, if they follow us, if they're interested in what we're doing, I love getting questions on social media. I love when people reach out and let us know how we're doing or what we could do better, or the kind of content that they like more of. So stuff like that really does kind of drive our compass. So we just thank you so much, man, for the opportunity to be here and, share a fun conversation with some people out there, and hopefully they feel like we didn't waste 30 minutes of their lives,
That's awesome. Well, Jeff, it's always fun to catch up. This will get shared on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and eatsleepgolf.com, and you name it. It's going all over the place. And maybe, just maybe, if I make it to the PGA show and you don't win the lottery tonight, we're going to meet for a cup of coffee. But as always, on the hashtag Wednesday Match Plays, you have to remember to eat, sleep, golf.